Russian forces launched a new offensive into Sumy Oblast, charging across open fields with the expectation of minimal resistance. But what they encountered was a carefully planned Ukrainian trap. Drawn far from their defensive lines and exposed in the open, Russian units were hit hard by a sudden Ukrainian counterstrike. Artillery, drones, and precision infantry movements devastated the attackers. Ukrainian forces quickly overran Russian command posts, shattered frontline cohesion, and forced dozens of Russian soldiers to surrender. Despite Russian President Vladimir Putin's claim that capturing Sumy is not a primary goal, his assertion that wherever Russian soldiers step becomes Russian territory stands in stark contrast to current battlefield losses. Russian diplomats had even issued direct threats during Istanbul negotiations, warning Ukraine it could lose both Sumy and Kharkiv if it didn't comply with Kremlin demands. But so far, Ukraine has turned the tide. In the opening days of the Russian offensive, Ukrainian forces appeared to retreat, offering limited resistance. In reality, this was a strategic maneuver. Veteran Ukrainian units, including those with experience deep inside Kursk Oblast, conducted a tactical withdrawal and repositioned into defensible areas within Sumy. Taking shelter in the forests, these battle-hardened troops waited for the right moment, and Ukrainian command anticipated that once Russian troops crossed into exposed terrain, they'd become highly vulnerable, and they were right. Geolocated footage now confirms fields littered with Russian casualties. Following intense drone strikes and artillery fire, Ukraine's ability to conserve its strength and then strike with precision turned a risky situation into a battlefield advantage. With Russian forces depleted, Ukraine seized the opportunity. The 225th Separate Assault Battalion, one of Ukraine's elite strike forces, led a fierce counter-offensive. In a matter of hours, Ukrainian troops retook the village of Andriivka, dismantling fortified Russian positions. One of the most significant blows came during the assault on a Russian frontline command post. Ukrainian soldiers not only overran the site, but also killed Andrei Vyacheslavovich Yartsev, a battalion commander from Russia's 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment. His death caused a sudden breakdown in Russian command coordination, leaving forward units scattered and exposed. But Ukraine's counteroffensive didn't just reclaim territory, it shattered Russian morale. In one viral video, 13 Russian soldiers surrender to a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, raising their hands and following remote instructions to safety. These moments underscore a broader collapse in Russian battlefield cohesion. Ukrainian forces have since re-entered multiple contested villages and keep digging. Meanwhile, Russian commanders are still determined to push toward Khotin, hoping to create a drone strike corridor capable of reaching Sumy City, the regional capital. So far, their offensive is losing momentum by forcing Russian troops into open ground, hitting hard with drones and artillery, and eliminating key officers, while Ukraine has regained tactical control over the Sumy front, at least for now. While from the direction of Kupiansk, Kharkiv Oblast, Ukrainian defenders exploit Russian reliance on vulnerable rubber boat river crossings by allowing limited penetrations, then systematically sealing breaches to isolate and eliminate trapped infantry groups. The strategic battle for Kupiansk is unfolding as Russian forces intensify efforts to cross the Oskil River and encircle the city, hoping to shift momentum in their favor. Yet despite repeated assaults and tactical shifts, their advance remains stalled, trapped in a deadly fire pocket, crippled by logistics, and methodically dismantled by a patient and lethal Ukrainian defense. The battle for Kupiansk is characterized by persistent Russian pressure along two key axes, primarily via the Pishane funnel, a narrow corridor extending westward toward the Oskil River. Here, Russian units attempt to widen their area of control, aiming to solidify positions near the riverbanks and save themselves from the deadly Ukrainian fire from three sides. However, because of the fire pocket, Russian forces in this sector are severely undermanned, undersupplied, and critically lack armored support. Their presence largely consists of scattered infantry groups operating without meaningful logistical backing, rendering them particularly vulnerable to precise, small-scale raids by Ukrainian special forces. Ukrainian forces, employing a robust active defense, maintain continuous pressure in an active defense, conducting raids with special forces teams to take prisoners, obtain mission-critical intelligence, and disrupt Russian force-gathering efforts. Thus, Russian elements within the funnel remain strategically insignificant. Given ongoing high-stakes battles elsewhere, particularly around Toretsk, Pokrovsk, Kostiantynivka, and Sumy, allocating substantial Ukrainian resources to decisively eliminate this minor Russian penetration would be impractical. Additionally, pushing Russian forces back here would inadvertently shorten their overextended supply lines, unintentionally improving their logistical conditions. Therefore, Ukraine's current strategy of containment and attrition effectively drains Russian manpower without compromising Ukrainian resources. Meanwhile, Russian command persistently attempts to close the pocket around the Pishchane funnel, striving to transform it into a platform for a more substantial advance directly toward Kupiansk and the strategically important Oskil River. Despite frequent offensive attempts, Russian progress remains negligible. Various tactics have been employed, including infantry-only assaults, motorcycle-mounted rushes, and even limited armor-supported pushes. Each of these efforts has consistently failed due to relentless and highly effective Ukrainian resistance. Over several months, Russian forces have sought to widen the funnel's eastern flank to alleviate the concentrated Ukrainian fire pocket. Despite their efforts, Russians have managed to widen only half the funnel, achieving little practical advantage.